Alright guys, I'm here, back with more AC2. Yeah. Feels weird playing this again. To be honest, I mean, I know a lot of people complained about the about the Ezio Collection remasters, but AC2 looks really fucking. I mean, I shouldn't say really good because there's all this pop in, but definitely from someone that's like, obviously played a lot of the original. I think it's a really it's a pretty good remaster here. AC2. Oh, wait, did I pass that? I'm not fucking. I'm not even paying attention, to be honest. Fuck.
It's just a little spoiler alert for spoilers. It's been a fluid situation, so let's check in. Let's talk about it. If you want to announce that now, be surprised on Thursday
Fine.
night.
I guess.
More times, definitely Thursday.
And we could just like.
You might as well stay. But,
what's going on?
This could go either way.
What's this game?
We might be in coin flip territory.
Oh, fuck off. Okay. Cool.
Good morning, Father.
Come with me.
Something wrong?
Do you think me blind and
I know
deaf,
where the buzzer
son?
is. I haven't found it
I
yet.
know all
think
about
it's
your
22.
fight with Vieri Pazzi last night. And then this little visit to
just,
Christina.
one counterpoint for Nicole and
Your
Kevin thinking about how the
behavior
kids,
is
they touch your stuff.
unacceptable.
Okay? Alright. So, alright.
It
We are 24 hours
It
less than
reminds
me of myself when I was your
Melissa,
age.
it looked like that
I
Nicole
assume
Anthony
these
was dead in the water.
misadventures won't interfere with
But
your work today.
the
No,
dueling
padre.
campaign,
Avete la mia
not
parola.
since Becky and Sandra went
I've prepared some
toe-to-toe,
documents
have
here
we
for
seen a
Lorenzo Di
matchup
Medici to
like the
review.
horse race between
I
Nicole
need them
Anthony and
delivered to
David.
him.
With
At
haste,
this
Father.
hour, who's
Return
going
to me
home?
when it's done.
I think it's Nicole. I think David's gonna stay, but it's so hard to tell. I just feel like every time I check,
I don't think it's hard to tell. I think it's more so
not
just.
only like, okay, people are doing good work to save themselves. It's like people are doing bad work and then falling out of favor with people who were planning on voting to keep them. That like, well, wait, are they actually gonna vote to keep them now that they've done this, or like now that this has happened? So it really, I have no idea.
Explain to him about that.
Sides of like who are the guaranteed vote to evict Nicole votes? Who are the guaranteed vote to evict David votes? If there are such things.
I mean,
Fuck.
Tyler would vote to evict Nicole. I think Kaser and Janelle are gonna vote to evict David, but at the same time, I don't know if anyone will vote on the opposite side of the house. Like, I think everyone's gonna want to like end up voting as a house.
Oh my
and I
God, that
don't
actually worked.
know. Except for Kevin. Kevin says he's gonna keep Nicole.
No, game.
So,
You fucking piece of shit.
Nicole has Kevin.
Yeah.
And does she
Ben
have
trovato.
Janelle and Kaser?
How?
How has she not lost
Come
them?
sempre.
I
have a letter for Messer Lorenzo.
I thought she was about to lose them
I'll see that he
earlier
receives
today
it when he
because
returns.
Yes.
Nicole, like,
Returns?
Pull us up because I think that
They've
maybe
gone to
there might be
Villa
some people
Careggi, I'm
listening
afraid.
that may not
And
know
not expect
about
me
Jenny.
back
Can
for
you
at
sum
least
that up?
another day.
I'll let my father know.
No, in one answer, no, I cannot sum it up.
Could you attempt to?
But I will
Try.
attempt. So basically, Nicole is
Okay.
absolutely in her own head and is going back to why was I nominated in the first place, and is really feeling like Janelle and Kaser did not go to bat for her, and we're still talking about Janelle going up and having wine in the HOH with Memphis, and that, you know, she really felt like they had her back, and there's no reason for her to be on the block in the first place. All of this has already happened, and the other
Cool.
thing is that a lot of these players are really trying to not show their cards, so they're not trying to show that there are sides, and Janelle and Kaser become the scapegoat for absolutely everything, and Nicole is really getting in her own head about whether Janelle and Kaser truly have her back, and now she's starting to get really pent up, and her anxiety is at an all-time high, and she's questioning their
Keep up
loyalty
the good work.
to her,
Biscuero.
and her conversations with other people about her
You would.
questioning of Janelle and Kaser is almost making more traction to keep her
Hello,
when
son.
those are the two people that
You
are
remember my
lobbying
friend.
hardest
Good morning,
for her to
Gonfaloniere
stay.
Alberto.
It's
To you as well,
absolutely
young
so
man.
bizarre,
I
but
trust you
this
delivered the
afternoon,
message.
I mean, she's been
Si,
talking about having
padre.
a house meeting
But
and
it seems
hasn't
Lorenzo
happened.
is out of town.
And We
I
finally
did not
saw her get a
anticipate
little bit
this.
confrontational
What does
with
it matter?
Janelle
So you
earlier
wait
this
another day or
afternoon,
two.
where she was like,
Listen,
again, back
your
to the,
mother
like,
and
well,
sister
why am I
have
on the
been
block in
looking
the first
for
place?
you.
Like, I
I'll
feel
need
like
you
you guys
again in a
sold me
little while,
out,
but for now,
and she
see if
said
you
it
can't
was
help it.
bull
Are you
crap,
sure?
and she walked
Yes,
out
now
of the
if
room
you'll
that she was in with
excuse us.
Janelle, and I
Good
honestly,
to
I
see
was
you,
like,
Ezio.
okay, Nicole has finally had it, and she's gonna pop off towards Janelle and Kaser, and this might end up losing those two, but possibly gaining
Alright, these
the
two
very,
missions.
very
Hey, Claudia.
vocal
How are you?
anti-Janelle
Bene.
Kaser
You shouldn't
contingent
keep
in
things
the
from
house.
me.
So it's
It's
absolutely
Lucio.
confusing
What
because
of him?
I think he's been unfaithful.
Who told you this?
Again, this is
The
really
other
weird
girl.
considering they're supposed to be like
Depending
14.
on
I thought they were my friends.
people's fear of Janelle and
Harpies.
Kaser.
You're better off without
At
them.
any point
I
this week,
loved
did
him.
Janelle and Kaser
No,
say,
Claudia.
like,
You only thought you did.
we're
He
not
should
gonna save
suffer
you.
for what
Enough
he's
with you.
done.
Wait here.
They realize.
I'll go have a
you know,
word with
Kaser,
him.
Kaser is telling Janelle, like, hey, we don't really have to do this. But I think Janelle's really invested in Nicole as a player and as a person. She cried, just like, I'll leave this game if you get evicted and stuff like that. We're like, that's not even the Janelle we know. Like, we can see her saying that about Kaser, but not Nicole Anthony, who she just met, in theory. So I think it's odd, but I think the thing that's really fueling all of this is Memphis. Memphis is an insane person. And so because he put up, like, Nicole is looking at Janelle and saying, you're my ally, so you say. And your ally, Memphis, put me on the block while you were in the room laughing and joking with him and drinking wine. So something right here doesn't add up. And Janelle is trying to say, Memphis is insane. I don't know why he did this, but I'm trying to undo it. It's like, yeah, but did you really try? Like, so that's the issue. It doesn't make sense because logically, the things that Memphis did this week did not make sense. He should have told his alliance what was going on. He should have been able to be open
Lucio,
to either side. And he
it's
was not open to
beautiful.
Janelle.
Nothing but the best for you.
So when
I'm
all
more than you.
But what of
lines went back
Claudia?
to Memphis, and Janelle
I thought
is
you'd been
the
promised
connection
to her.
Memphis
The
and
father
Nicole,
said I could do
and
much
there's
better than an
no logical
auditorio.
reason why Janelle, Nicole's ally, should have been able to keep her off the block. And so
Birbante.
that's why it's not making
Come,
sense to Nicole.
let us walk a bit.
What?
So why isn't it
I
working,
had
though?
something
If
else
Nicole
in mind.
hates
Oh,
Janelle and
Lucio.
Kaser now. Why don't the other people in the house say, okay, well then, why don't we keep
Hey,
her?
Lurido Porco!
Because they want
Ezio,
Janelle and
my
Kaser out
friend.
too, and they're like, yeah, we
Ah,
can do this.
ma che
Well,
ti
literally
piglia?
everybody
You
in the
insult
house
my
wants to
sister.
Kaser out.
Parading
Well,
around with
that
his
anyway.
putana.
Yeah, everybody's doing that
Well,
anyway.
what are you
It's not
talking
like,
about?
Like Nicole
I
is
saw
some like
the gift you
major
gave her.
player that like they
But the
can't do
things you
without
said.
her. Like they're all like,
Maybe
yeah,
your
so what?
sister
The rest of us
shouldn't
want
be
to
so
come out too.
stingy with her
Literally
virtue.
everybody but Janelle
You
and
broke
Kaser
her
want Janelle
heart.
and Kaser out. So,
Ha!
like, why do we
And
need
now
you
I'm
to
going
help
to
us
break
with
your
that?
face.
And not only that, David wants to get
The
them out
auditor
too.
is all talk
So it's
big.
like
But
there's
when
no,
it comes
there's no
time for
difference
action,
between the two
ha!
of them, except for
You
that
regret
David
ever opening
is
your mouth.
actually aligned with
I
like
could have
Tyler
taught your sister a
and,
great many. She's
and
lucky
maybe
to have had
Cody or
someone like
whatever.
me.
And also David and
Bastardo!
Bailey, like he's got them. So it's well, we think he has them. Who knows anymore? But the point is
Basta.
that it's just
Fiorello.
like there's no rhyme or
Stay
reason
away
really
from my
for
sister.
anything. And Nicole is convinced that Janelle and Kaser are against her for whatever reason. But, she won't, talk to them until today. Literally until today, she wouldn't, actually just sit them down, which is what they asked her on the round table yesterday. I was like, why can't she just sit them down and say, look, this is what I'm feeling. You guys seemingly have betrayed me, have thrown me under the bus. What's the deal with that? And just, get it out in the open with them. Because instead, she's been running around to everybody else and saying that she's upset with them. But then when they try and talk to her, she just, storms off. Really, and slams the door. It's like she won't talk to them. And then she twists their conversation around to everybody else in the house to convince them that Janelle and Kaser are these, bullies or something. I don't know. And I get that Nicole is in a bad position, and I get that she's upset, and I get that she's still stressed out from her last time in the house, and that she's
Buongiorno,
taking that and kind
Ezio.
of putting
Buongiorno
it
a voi,
on to this
madre.
season. But it's
Come state?
none of this
Sto
makes
bene.
sense, Nicole.
And
Don't
you?
you see?
Still recovering
I think
from
she
last
could,
night?
She could see it if she
I
wasn't
have no
going
idea
back
what
to
you're
Kevin.
talking about.
Every
Of
time
course
she's about
not.
to catch on,
Anyway,
Kevin's
I have
like,
an errand
"I
to run.
hate you so much."
I'd
Something
like
that
you to
doesn't
join.
seem to
It's like a little
piacere.
devil on her shoulder or
Come,
something.
it's not far
you're,
from
You're
here.
gross. Everyone hates you. It's like, oh,
It's
okay.
like I like you, but these other people they think you're a virgin kid. So they're like, so she never gets the traction.
I know about your fight with Viren.
He might have said it.
Why would they say she can't drive?
Fight.
Yeah, he might have. He might have said it.
Per piacere.
People are
Let's not play this game.
Yeah, who
He
knows?
spoke ill of us.
Well, yeah, I think that's
Could not
what it
allow
is. I
him
think
to
every time
continue.
I'm
there's a
sure he's
moment of
having a
clarity
hard
of, like,
time dealing with the
where are they
accusations
trying to
against
say?
his
Kevin
father.
is literally in the background
Francesco
going,
Di
that's what they
Pazzi is
do,
many
that's what they do,
things,
they do.
and none of them good. But
Very.
I never
Ah,
suspected
fuck. I
him
fucking
capable of
fine.
They
murder.
tried to get rid of me last week. They called me a liar.
What happened to him?
Remember what they
I
did to
imagine
me?
there
And
will
so
be a
Nicole's like,
trial.
you're right. You're right.
Will
I can't
father
trust him.
speak at it?
No matter how much
He'll
it
have
looks like
to.
they're trying to save me.
He's
and
the
I
one
hear
with
them
the
trying to save me.
evidence.
I'm
Still,
gonna believe Kevin instead of
I
my
wish there
own
was
lying
another way.
guys. So there you
You've
go.
nothing to
Jenny,
fear.
this is
Everyone
my
wants
pitch for
justice done.
Kaser and
It's an
Chanel.
unfortunate state of
Tell
affairs,
everybody
but
we
it will
want
pass.
Nicole to go home. Kaser and Janelle, tell the house we want David to stay. We want Nicole out of here. We've had it with her.
I mean, that would be great if anyone believed anything that Janelle or Kaser said, but that's just simply not the case.
But
So,
this is reverse psychology.
yeah, but
now.
how many levels of reverse psychology
Here we
is
are.
it gonna take for, you know what I mean? Like,
I actually think that's a good idea. Is like tell everybody that like David wants to work with us. Please, like he wants to be on our side.
Hello, Leonardo.
Madonna
You
Maria.
guys need.
This is my son, Ezio.
Molto onorato.
Tell everybody that he
L'onore
said he wants
è
to
mio.
work with you. Like, I mean,
Let me go and fetch the paintings. I'll be right back.
look at what's going on here. Like,
He wouldn't even
He's
deny it.
very
Like, he
talented.
wouldn't even deny it.
Immagino.
Self-expression is vital to understanding and enjoying life.
Like,
You should
that's
find
what
an
he's gonna do.
outlet.
It's why they bond
Have
once they
plenty
vote
of
him out.
outlets.
'Cause she goes
I
there,
meant
That's
besides
besides
vaginas.
vaginas.
all guys are lying. He's like,
Mother.
she's like,
Back to your house then.
wait a minute.
Sì, sì.
You weren't gonna tell me? He's
Ezio,
like, no.
help Leonardo, will you?
Yeah, what are you talking about? So if they come to him and they're like, "Are you working with Janelle Case?" You go, "Yeah, sure." Like,
he'd be like, look, like, I mean, do you really think I'm working with Janelle?
This is one of the most
Go ahead.
glitchy. Okay.
What do you do?
In the original game, that was like a very
He's been
glitchy
looking for
thing,
his
just picking up the box.
Ah,
It won't
good to be
But I don't
a
think I've had that much difficulty
Now.
in
Also,
the
Janelle,
You. Art, was it?
Truth be told, it's been difficult for me to settle. Painting is nice, but I often feel like my work lacks, I don't know, purpose. Does that make sense? I'd rather contribute more practically, more directly. Architecture, perhaps, or anatomy. I'm not content merely to capture. I want to change it.
okay, well, you're the
Oh,
one on the block, so
Leonardo,
you
I have
really
no
don't
doubt
have
you'll
to
go on to
help
do
me.
great things. Thank you for your help,
So
son.
that's why.
So far,
Don't
playing
let
this
me
though,
from
it
your
really
evidence.
just feels like I'm just
It
playing
was nice to meet you. Ezio.
something I don't
Hope
need
our
to
paths
play.
cross again.
It feels like just how many times I've played this game, it really just, I don't really find this that enjoyable anymore. But I still want to play this before playing the other games in the Ezio
What are you
trilogy.
doing out here, Petruccio? You should be in bed.
I want those feathers.
What for?
It's a secret.
If I get them for you, will you go back inside?
It's impressive.
Yes, I
to
promise.
watch. I think this has been the most entertaining week. And the fact that they managed to avoid all of that on this episode is insane to me. Because that's been like the last 4 days has been
eventually
Grazie,
change. If you have to
brother.
call it
You
right
still haven't
now,
told me why you won,
Is
please.
everybody
I
on
will.
the consensus think Nicole
In
Anthony
time.
is gonna go?
Yeah, 100%.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Melissa, in Big Brother history, if somebody, if it's back and forth like this all
And
week,
so
but one
much would have
person
to
has been
change for
ahead all
Nicole
week,
Anthony.
is that usually
Go home.
sort of like then when
Or
by the
just
time we
stay
get to
home.
eviction night, is it
I
very
need
rare
these
for it to
packages
change the
delivered
last
to
second?
associates of mine in the city.
I would
also
say that
need
it
you to
that
retrieve a
normally that
message
would
for
be
me
the
from a
case, that
pigeon
you
coop
would
not too
not
far from
flip
me.
at the last second
Yeah.
unless
Va bene.
something
I'll get it
happens.
done.
But like for the
Come
most
back
part,
here when
if it's
you're
just
finished.
people going back and forth,
There are
people
some things
usually
we
tend
need
to stick
to
with what they
discuss.
initially
And
were gonna
please,
do.
my son,
So I
stay
do
out of
think
trouble.
we have David staying and Nicole leaving, barring
Why
Nicole
is
doing a house meeting like she was
ah shit, not what I meant to.
talking about, or like
Yeah.
David really imploding. Like
Wow.
there
Yeah.
could be any number of things that happen between now and tomorrow. But I do think at this point, David's gonna stay.
Chappelle, like last season, there was that 1 week where it was, I think it was Kat and Sam that were both on the block, and then it was, Sam was going home, Sam was going home, Sam was going home, and then like that day it flipped, and then it was like, oh, we got a house flip, and then by the time they went to the live show, it had flipped out. Yeah.
There's some that actually flip, like Zach.
But no, no, that's a good point because I remember like with Kat, the thing
Was it Tyler flipped Caitlyn at the last second?
What are these people
Yeah.
saying? She
The night
knew
before.
the second place
Or was it the night before or was it
and
2 days before? I
doesn't
don't
realize
remember. Right?
they knew
I think it was the
she
night before, right?
And her and Ben were like, they were almost found out, so that kind of thing happened, or she wasn't leaning on that relationship enough. I don't know. All I know is that this
You're
week,
Giovanni's
I've
kid?
never seen
No,
anything like
idiota.
this where
He just happens
if
to look
Janelle
exactly like
or
the man.
Kaiser had won the veto
Give it here.
and literally saved Nicole, she probably would have been so
Don't
mad
worry,
she was
boy.
so addicted.
We're not
She probably
contagious.
would've walked out the house.
At least I'm not.
I'm not.
Why are you trying to get me out of here? You just stringing me along? So I think she would have lost it. So I personally, for myself, for my television pleasure, I want her to stay. I want her to be in the house all, like, as the foil to everybody's plans. Like Chicken George, I want her to just be around. Because David is not good TV, but or good feeds. But Nicole, like, literally, like, listening to Janelle say, like, I really want you here, and going to Kevin and going, she's so condescending. She's like, I really want you here. Like that is entertaining to me. I don't know how she does it, but I never want her to go ever again. She's my favorite player. She's not a player, she's my
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, how about
She gets
that?
my vote today.
Not even
It
more.
was
It's
Keisha last week,
fine.
and now, well, I have a bad track record.
Yeah. You know how to pick them. Was there anything else that we should be following at this hour on the feeds?
Not really. I feel like all of it is interesting, but it's hard to say
I have
whether
a
it actually
delivery
means
from-
anything. I think there have been conversations
Yes.
with
Were you
like
followed?
Ian and Kaser,
No.
for example. Like I love those
Why would I be
conversations
followed?
because it
Give me the
gives
package.
me hope that something might
Tell
happen
your father that
to
I'm
like
moving
switch
tonight.
up the season.
He
They
should
both
as well.
talk
Who's
about like
moving?
we need to do
What's
something.
going on
we can't
here?
just like ride
Wait,
this out.
come back.
But then
Explain
it kind of
yourself.
ends with like Ian being like, okay, so you need to win HOH. It's like, okay, well that doesn't really do anything
Yeah.
for everyone. And so I just feel like unless we get a Kaser or Janelle HOH this week, we're not gonna see
I forgot we didn't have
anything
social
really
stuff yet.
come
I forgot
of
about
these
that.
conversations that like seem fruitful, but like don't really. Nothing gets solidified because we don't know who the next HOH is, and that could really change everything. So.
I also just feel like everyone's being so cagey with each other, and things are just so blurred that, like, and on top of that, David and Nicole Anthony, neither of them are doing an excellent job of campaigning or helping
Neither of
their
them are
team.
doing a
That
decent
for
job.
people that might be on the bottom or in the middle or what have you, there's not a lot of incentive for them to like put themselves out there, potentially tie a vote, and really draw a line on week 2. That I think that
Not what I wanted
like
at
in
all.
these conversations with Ian and Kaser, that Ian's probably just like, you know what, like, not my place to be putting myself out there this early. If I, get power next week or Kaser gets power, then we maybe start talking about things. But like, I'm not going to like throw any potential connections away without knowing who's going to be in power next week for David or Nicole Anthony. Like, it's just not worth it to me.
Yeah, you know what? We might as well like rip the band-aid off. Put Kaser and Janelle up on the block next week. Let one of them go. We'll get a lot of fireworks next week. You know, one of the things in Big Brother 12 that was so effective for the original brigade was was that Brendan and Rachel were there. It was Brendan and Rachel fighting against the house, and they were able to actually stick around
Father?
for a long time until they got
Federico.
separated. And it really helped confuse the rest of the house. They were so focused on what Brendan and Rachel were doing.
Sergio!
So,
Thank
get
God.
Kaser or
What
Janelle
happened?
out of the house. The other
Where
one
is
has
everyone?
a chance that we can move
They
forward
took your
for the rest
father
of
and
this
brothers to the Palazzo
I
de la
think,
Signoria.
the
prison.
alliance
My mother,
on the other
my
side of the
sister.
house is going to really fly
Ezio.
under the radar if
Claudia.
Janelle and Kaser stand, because literally everyone in the house is obsessed with Janelle and
Are you
Kaser.
alright?
They're blinded
Yes.
by it. That's literally all they can
Mother.
think about. They can't see
She's in
anybody
shock.
else as a target
They-
until they get those two out. So, like,
When she
I do
resisted.
feel like,
It's not
unfortunately,
safe
like,
here.
the longer they
Is
stay
there
in,
someplace you can
unless
take
Janelle
them?
and Kaser
Like, it's
turn
implied that
Yes.
she's raped,
Yes.
right?
To my
turn things
sister.
around,
Good.
split the house,
Do that.
whatever.
Like, it's
Pull out
never
the house.
mentioned
Father.
again, but it's like,
Be careful,
that's what it's
Mr. Ezio.
implying, right?
The guards were looking for you as well.
and live.
Isn't that the story of Big Brother, like, time after time? Like,
Yeah.
Dan loses his ally, like, week 2, and then he goes to win. Will loses whatever that guy's name was, and he goes to win, like that girl Shannon, and he goes to win. Like, we see this all the time. As a pair, you're a big target, but when you're just, look at Rachel, you know, when Brendan goes, it's like, oh, it's just Rachel. You know, like, we'll get back to her eventually. So if Kaser goes, you know, God forbid, we love Kaser. Like, it does do Janelle some good. Look what happened the first time he got eliminated with her. Look at what happened the second time he got eliminated. The third time he got eliminated with her.
Yeah.
Like, she goes on to go far because as a pair, they're like, this is something that you can't split up. And Kaser and Janelle want to divide the house. They want to have that fight that everybody is skirting around. But if you really think about it, and she lets him go, then she becomes Janelle's weapon. You know, like, oh, Janelle's on our side, she's gonna win the veto for us. You know, Danny's probably gonna go try to scoop her up. Everybody except Nicole F could scoop up Janelle, and so that's why Nicole F is the only one who really wants Janelle out like that. Everyone else is fine with Kaser going or Janelle, but Nicole F really knows that she can never work with Janelle, and so that's why she has to keep that in the atmosphere. But yeah, I think ultimately, if you rip the Band-Aid off, like you said, next week will be great TV.
Yeah.
Janelle would probably win the veto and save herself. Okay, so we go home, we'd all be sad, and then she'd be like the person we're rallying behind to tear this thing apart.
So,
Also,
do we...
can I just say really quick, like, I hate the narrative that everyone in the house keeps saying that Janelle and Kaser want to split the house. They want to split house. The house is split. If you're not in the alliance, then you are on the other side. That's literally what it is. And they keep saying, like, they want to split the house. The house is a
Ezio.
cohesive unit, but they're trying to split us up. That is
happened?
absolutely not the
Took a
case.
bit of a
If you
beating,
don't
but
find
I'm
yourself
alright.
in a major alliance
What of your
the
mother
first
and
week,
sister?
you are not
Safe
in it,
now.
and you are on the outs,
Annetta
and
took
you
me.
are in trouble.
Yes.
And I think that's
Wait.
and I think that's what
You
I
knew
guess
this would
what
happen?
I'm trying to say is that they
Not
don't
the
want
way
to
it
split the house.
did,
It's
not
already
this
split,
soon.
But they do want the lines
Doesn't
to be
matter
defined,
now.
right? We want to know
What do
who
you
the bad
mean?
guys are. We're the good guys.
Explain.
We're aiming at.
There's no
Because right
time.
now, with
Listen
the way the line
closely.
structure is set up,
Return
first
to
of
the
all, it's a
house.
flawed
In
idea
my
anyway
office
that
is a
alliance
hidden
is-
door.
the core alliance is
Use
working,
your
right?
talent
Like, they
to
think
find
about
it.
the brigade like that. Think
Beyond
about the
lies
last
it
big
just.
alliances.
Take
Like, Derek's
everything you
alliance was
find
17
inside.
people, and then Undeniable
Much of
was
it may seem
35 people,
strange to you, but
you
all
know,
of it
like
is
Grateful,
important.
64 people. Like, all
Do
these
you
alliances are
understand?
huge. So when you
Yes.
go to like someone like
Good.
Christmas and you're like, you know, there's a 4-person
Among
alliance,
the
and you're not
contents
in it.
is a
Like,
letter,
yeah,
and with
'cause
it
it's a
some
17-person
documents.
alliance, and you're not
I
in
need
it.
you to take
And so
these
they really
documents to
need-
Mr.
they need to
Roberto.
define the
He was
size
with me
so
in
they'll
the
know
office
who
this
they're
morning.
shooting at.
We're going
But
Falonieri.
it
I
doesn't
remember.
move the rest of the house to
Now,
get
please,
into that.
tell me
The
what's
rest of the house is
happening.
fine with them being
Are the
targeted,
Pazzi
as long
behind
as
this?
it's not me.
There was a note
Who
for you
cares
to
if
give
it's
me.
you, you know?
It said,
And
"Go,
so I think that's
Ezio.
even why Memphis
Go now.
wasn't willing to show his cards this week. He's like, listen, I'm not anybody's number one target except David, and what is he gonna do? So I think that's where they're trying to, like, you know, draw that line in the sand and say, this is what's going on. Come with us, and that's Kaser's superpower. You know, that's what he's good at, and they need to get rid of him, and it would be good TV.
Ivan Tinfoil had theory. Janelle and Kaser up on the block next week completely divides the house over who does the alliance want to send out more. That's what opens up the rift. Okay, fine, Janelle and Kaser on the block. Who are the people that have to have Janelle go home, and who are the people that say Kaser has to go home? That's what splits the big alliance.
Yeah, 'cause
they
you-
can't agree who has to go.
You've got Nicole Franzel that is gunning hard for Janelle, and you've got like Cody that is like ready for Kaser to go. That actually could be the thing that divides this alliance.
Mother said there
Yeah,
was a
and
door
then coup
here.
d'etat, and they both get the step. Okay. All right. Let's take a couple more questions here tonight. This is one from Cade, who says, "Is
Okay,
Memphis
now one of the
making
best
a
moments
mistake
in the
by
history
keeping
of
the
this
nomination
Oscar
the same, or is it smart because Kaser and Janelle aren't going after him, and they'll always be bigger targets than he is? It's fine.
I mean, Melissa got it right in that it's great. Don't tell your alliance that they're on to the rest of you. You keep that in your pocket, and you know that if in the off chance that Janelle and
Why
Casey
is the
get power
lighting
next
like way
week,
off?
you're safe, and worst case scenario, they go after one of your allies. So personally, yeah, it was a great decision for Memphis, but he screwed himself in his standing in his own
we're
alliance
probably
by
gonna try
letting
to
them
finish
know
Act
that he's
1.
basically just going
Or
to,
Act 1, Sequence 1.
dangle their lives to keep Janelle and Kaser in the game.
I liked in the episode there was one point where Danny Donato is talking to
Traditore!
Memphis, and
Hey,
she's
what's
really
with the
thinks that,
swords?
you know,
Aren't you
Janelle
supposed to
and
arrest
Kaser,
me?
if they're knowing about
No.
us, like maybe there's something we can do, and Memphis is
What
like,
do you want then?
Oh, are you saying you want to
For
backdoor
you
somebody?
to die!
Yeah, that's what
Well,
I'm saying.
it's not going to happen.
He's like, oh,
Why don't we explore other
I
options?
got a 5-finger plan for you, okay? What we're gonna do is,
backdoor.
Memphis has never been HOH before, as we've heard of.
Forget that.
So,
Yeah.
new.
Alright, Shannon says, why did the edit not show any of the Janelacy that's been going on in this house?
My hope is they're saving it for Thursday.
Thursday.
They could do a whole segment on it, like, you know, everybody talking about, yeah, literally just everybody talking about Janelle constantly.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, then Ryan says if Janelle or Kaser wins HOH tomorrow, is it in their best interest to target the big alliance? If so, who should they target
Well, yeah,
specifically?
kinda have
I feel
to.
like Nicole and Cody are the biggest advocates against them, plus their pair being from the same season. Alright,
Yeah,
Val,
I think
yeah, let's explore this. Let's give people some hope for 24 hours here. Let people have a nice dream on a Wednesday night.
Ezio Auditore? What are you doing here at this hour?
I think Melissa was just about to say it. Nicole and Cody.
I don't...
Because
Wait,
that
child.
is the most obvious
Take a
pair
breath.
that they can, like, spot
Collect
that's
your
part of that
thoughts.
alliance. If they
My
try to
father and
get
brothers have
fancy
been in
with
prison.
anybody else, it
I was
might not
told to
work
bring
out.
you
Like, if
this.
they like, oh, let's throw Tyler up there. Like, Cody will cut bait with Tyler.
I see now.
He will cut bait with Tyler.
It's
Or
a
if they're like, oh, let's throw,
misunderstanding,
you know,
Ezio.
one of these Christmas up
I'll
there.
clear
They will cut
everything
bait for
up.
Christmas. Like, you really
How?
need to go to the two of them
The
because they're the most
documents you've
obvious
given
pair,
me
even though they're trying to,
contain
like,
evidence of
not
a
be the most
conspiracy
obvious pair. If they do
against your
anybody else,
family
it's going to backfire
and
in their
against the
faces. They
city.
just don't know who's all aligned. But
I'll
they
present
know
these
for a
papers
fact
at
those
their
two
hearing
are
in the
aligned.
morning,
And so I think that's what it
and
is.
they'll be released.
I would like to see
Thank you, Signore.
Janelle win
Of
the
course,
HOH, and I
my
think it
child.
should be, like you said,
Do
with
you need a
Janelle,
place
it
to
would be so
stay?
funny to see everybody
You are
squirm.
more than welcome
Okay, so
here.
he's so
No,
diplomatic,
grazie.
you know, a lot of times.
I'll meet you at the piazza.
So I think they'll
Don't
come
worry,
together and it'll be
Ezio.
very, like, you know, it'll be very
Everything is
professional.
going to be fine.
But I kind of want to see Janelle get the wine and, you know, give me that key, bitch. Like, I want to see that, that part. So,
Oh my god, totally.
yeah, I think that's what we're working with. That's what we want. So I think Nicole and Cody are definitely, like, the best two targets for sure.
Yeah, Kaser HOH would be like, alright, we're gonna... I made a deal with the other side. It's gonna be this week, Kevin and Dave. Yeah. Right. Don't worry, I kind of
I
see
don't
the
think
deal.
he would. I don't think he would. I think Kaser is ready to play, and I think he wants to make a big move. And I think I absolutely think that either of them would nominate Nicole and Cody, possibly a Tyler backdoor. I mean, if they need to. I think if they need a replacement, they put Tyler up. But I think overall, it should. If I'm Nicole or if I'm Janelle and Kaser, I want Nicole and Cody on the block at the end of the week.
And Janelle's been saying it, like, if we,
Oh,
you know,
shit.
like, we lose
Okay,
Nicole
cool.
this week, like, that's another number we had, and we're losing this battle. Like, the writing is on the wall, you know, so I
Oh, wait,
have to
I'm
think
going
the
wrong way.
fire is underneath them, not only
This
for
is
their
to
own
the
self-preservation in this game, but that, like, this is their only opportunity to take a shot and try to dismantle this, power structure on the other side of the house.
Alright.
So even if we have some doubt in, you know, Kaser's decisions, I have to believe that Janelle
Got through this
sees
pretty
what's
quickly,
going
aren't
on here and is going to push for one of the four that were named in tonight's episode. And obviously Nicole and Cody being on the same edition.
You and your accomplices
I think there's a
stand
photo
accused
against the
of the
safety,
crime
right?
of
Like, we get our
treason.
HOH, we get our
Have you any evidence to counter this charge? Yes, the documents that were delivered to you last night.
And so all four of them
I'm
play.
afraid I know
And
nothing
Danny would
of
save
these
Nicole,
documents.
Nicole would save
He's
Cody,
lying!
Nicole
Yeah,
or Danny.
that's why
to
I
get
want
closer.
Memphis to win it. And because he is a
wild card.
In the absence of any compelling evidence to the contrary, I am bound to pronounce you guilty. You and your collaborators are hereby sentenced to death.
You are the traitor, Roberto, and one of them. You may take our lives this day, but we will have yours in return, I swear! We will! Father!
Hey! Grab the boy! He's one of them!
I'll kill you for what you've done!
Guards! Arrest him!
Bailey did play it. Bailey and Davon.
Yeah, so that was gonna happen.
How about that?
He'll say just a random person. They'll probably say David, which would be great for his name, because David has every reason to come after him. He can save him and be like, you're in the deep now. You know, and then that'll be like the thing that ties
That was a
back
terrible
together.
one.
I think that's our best case scenario, because Cole definitely did. Everyone's head's going to explode. That's going to be the end. And it's going to be rigged because she's going to call it in. It's going to be a Michigan trivia contest.
Yeah, what happens actually if Nicole, let's say like Nicole wins safety suit, saves Cody, Tyler wins power veto, and Case or Janelle say George, like who do they go after at that point? That's literally the three targets.
Who says
I guess Danny.
wouldn't nominate
I don't know.
Kaiser if they get the HOH tomorrow? Alright, so while we're thinking with
And who would they go
rose-colored
after
glasses,
at that
okay?
point?
So, alright, Kaiser or Janelle
I
don't
don't think they
win.
would go for Enzo. I don't think they would go for
Are there
Christmas.
any states? This
Maybe
is like
Dave-
in
I guess they would go for
Monopoly
David,
when there's
right?
like you're playing a school that had like hotels on every property. It's like, boy, all right, I hope I get income tax. Okay.
Yeah. Aim for Baltic. You have to pay, but it's not as much.
Is there anybody on the board? What Bailey or Davon? Should they be safe with them?
Yeah, possibly Bailey and Davon would. I think they.
I've got a little request for you. I've identified several strange markings that I've discovered right across Renaissance Italy. Now, I don't know what they're doing there, but I want you to help me find out. Rebecca has marked their general location in the database with an eye icon, and she's made them glow as well.
But
Keep an eye out.
I struggle to see what they're going to do instead when everyone is playing so cagey and trying to
Serezio,
not,
thank God.
you know, make
I've
it
been
known
looking
that
everywhere
they're
for you.
aware of
I couldn't
the,
stop them,
you know, the
Annetta.
structures that are starting to
Tried,
come
I
into play
swear.
here. So
But there
it
were so many
absolutely
guards.
makes sense for
Please, come with me.
Bailey and Davon
We need to get you off the
protect,
streets.
Janelle and
What of my
Kaiser,
mother
but
and sister?
I also
They're
think
safe.
that there are probably
I'll
people
bring you
being
to
like,
them.
I don't
No.
want to be the one that
It's
has
too dangerous
to,
for us to travel together.
You know, with
Tell me when to
David
go, I'll
and
meet you there.
Anthony going on the block
My
with me,
sister's
it's
house.
still
Just
vague,
north
and
of the
people are
Duomo.
still trying
I'm
to,
on my
like,
way.
be like, oh, what is their side?
One's
So
here.
I think that there's got to be a lot of
Next
people that
subject
are like,
to on,
I want
I'll
to be
take
safe,
watching.
but I don't necessarily want to be